What would be the size ranges of payloads that the QuickLaunch would be able to put up?
Almost arbitrarily large. The Popular Science article talked about 1,000-pound payloads, and that was a 1 kilometer long system. The entry-level systems that are going to be commercial would be about 400 meters long, and those will launch 100-pound payloads.
Okay.
And so but it all scales. In fact, the physics scale slightly better as you get bigger, because your wall losses get smaller relative to the volume. So it's a very, very simple physics scaling. So the big guns are actually a little better than little guns.
Personally, what would you say would be the highlight of your career?
Me? Well, in terms of the most fulfilling part of my career, because I've had a lot of different things, was I went to Iraq on multiple occasions and hung armor on 5-ton trucks. And let me just give you guys, this is not science, of course. It's not the kind of science you're used to with hydrogen guns, but I know a bunch about armor. So Livermore had a little team, and I was part of a 2-man team and multi-man team. The reason that was so fulfilling for me was because I go over there, and if something happens to you, a bunch of 18-year-old guys with M16s go out and risk their lives to save you, okay? Now, in the rest of the business world, I deal in sporting goods, toys, and other things. Your business partners are often looking for a reason to do you in. Okay, so on one hand, you got these young kids who will risk their lives to save you. And I came back on one occasion with I slept between a bunch of coffins on one return trip. So, I mean, that was a real deal. And then so, I would much rather be among the military guys serving the country, not myself at risk, but they were at risk. I was really proud to be with those kids. That was my most fulfilling job. But I think I talked to a lot of these guys afterwards, and they happen to love this project. A lot of these young kids that had lost a limb or stuff. I was at Stu Siegel's studio. Some of these guys had lost limbs, and they really love this project. For some reason, Marines tend to like giant guns that launch things into space. And I think Eric, maybe it's a male thing, but I think women love it too. We just got to convince them.
Now, Eric, before QuickLaunch, have you worked at all in the space field?
Yeah, my company is based around a patent that I have for a fluid delivery fitting. This fitting is used to supply gases to an ion propulsion engine, or they can be used in the next Mars rover that's going up there in a cooling loop to keep the components warm in those chilly Martian nights. So yeah, I've got a lot of components that are flying in space and going to Mars next year. So yeah, I'm very interested in space activities.
What would you say would be the highlight of your career?
I think getting selected for the MSL, the Mars rover, was exciting because I've always been a big fan of Mars, and to know that I have components that are roving on Mars is obviously a big high point.
Now, is that same system you talked about, is that on the Mars Science Laboratory, or is there another instrument on there?
It's on Mars Science. It's the loop, it's basically the Mars Science Laboratory is built around a power source that generates heat, and so that's also being used to heat the component package so they can keep on doing science on those chilly Martian nights and during the winter.
I'm sure that must have been pretty exciting when you first found out.
Yeah, I mean, it's almost like being there yourself. Parts that I've manufactured and touched and played with, are now on Mars.
When do they get to Mars? Like 9 months or something?
They land August 6th next year, 2012.
Yeah, that'll be huge.
I'd like you just to take a moment and think if there's anything else that either of you'd like to add to this.
Well, I think that, I'll just give you my 20-second pitch, is that this is an enabling technology that allows man to get off the planet in a big way, as opposed to these multi-million-dollar exercises that sort of show and tell that we've seen for the last 40 years. The critical thing is you've got to be able to put propellant in space in these low-orbit depots, basically gas stations. So now these Cadillacs that are flying around actually have more than one tank of gas. So our job is to supply many, many tanks of gas affordably.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that, Elon Musk has been a great inspiration to all of us that commercial space is possible, and we can do it in our lifetime. And so I think it's a complementary kind of a strategy to what he's doing, and we just want to push this ball as far forward as we can, in our lifetime. We have both a Facebook site and also QuickLaunch Inc. is a website, so people can go there to find out more about the company. And obviously we are looking for first and second phase funding, and if anyone who wants to get involved at the ground floor, this is a great opportunity.
Yeah.